Hey, welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing. As always, I'm your host, RJ, and I'm joined by my fellow co-host and champion mates, Scott the Gooner, Rob the Red Devil. How are we, Stephen?
Better than you, mate. Better than you, I think, this morning today. But yeah, doing well, mate. Ready to talk some football.
Robbie, I don't know what he's talking about. How are you going?
I'm great, mate. You know me. I've been not shutting up about buzzing about Formula One. So tomorrow, me and Dad head off. So looking forward to it. Hopefully, it's a good weekend for Reds, both on the track and the field this weekend.
Good stuff to start your engines, and I think it goes without saying how I'm feeling. I'm wearing the colour. I'm feeling as the colour of my team. A little bit blue. It's all kind of happening, as they say in Sydney. When it rains, it pours, and that's exactly how I feel at the moment. But got to give me credit. I showed up tonight. That's the main thing. Unlike my team, at least I showed up. But, Scott, I believe we've got a few people in the chat to welcome.
Yeah. We'll first say good evening to our man Justin. Evening, legends. Madrid paying $7 to win the Champions League. We're going to chat about that very soon. We'll get there. We'll be talking Madrid. Don't you worry about that. We got Tom here. Does some amazing work with Larry on the United Pubcast. Make sure you check them boys out. Trippy in here. Yeah, the boys. Nice to have you in the chat. Tonight, as we do the show, if you've got any quick fires for us later at the end, I'm not going to lie, I haven't got one ready yet. So if you've got some crackers, put them in the chat and we'll come back to them at the end of the show. But let's start because it was a scintillating round of Champions League football. I'm hoping the predictions counted because I think I did pretty well with these. We had Liverpool beating Benfica 3-1. They were very good. Let's be real, they were very good. They did what Jurgen Klopp's boys do. They just dominated and attacked. Not too much from me to add on that. I'm just happy I got it right, and I think Liverpool for me are the front runners in this comp now. I'd be putting my money on them if I had to bet on someone. Robbie, you shocked by the result?
No, not shocked by the result. I think that the 3-1 at the end made it a little bit more looking more comfortable than it was. Obviously, 2-0 was good, but they did pull that 2-1 back. They were in for a fight, and obviously I think it was maybe Diaz that scored late on to look. That's a tie done for me. A lot of people said that tie's always done, but going back to Anfield with a 3-1 advantage, they're pretty much in the semi-final. So well done to Liverpool.
Arj?
Yeah, too good, mate. We know what they can do. Yeah, exactly. You should have seen it about 10 hours ago. If I could lose more here, I would have, honestly. But let's talk about Liverpool because they deserve a lot of credit. And that's the team. After years and years of chemistry and gelling and great recruitment, because, again, Diaz coming up clutch. Hey, Lottie, yeah, very comfortable. So good congratulations to them.
Then we have the other fixture, one that, again, we're a little bit all over the place with our predictions on Tuesday night. Man City Atletico. Now, to me, this kind of went according to the script. Atletico had 33% of the possession. City had 67%. 9 corners. Atletico had none. But City, for all that possession, all that dominance, 2 shots on target. So Atletico did what that old school Atletico can do and really frustrated the opponent. But in the end, they couldn't frustrate them enough. It was a 1-0 win. Kevin De Bruyne did what he had to do to give Pep's men a lead. Now, and I think they're through. Now, Atletico are going to have to go out and really chase. And when you go out and try and out-attack Man City will carve you up and they'll score. Any shocks about that result, RJ?
I think I might have picked it if I'm not mistaken. I kind of predicted it was going to be very tight and I could have seen a draw, but I think I kind of went 1-0. I suppose what surprised me the most is not the result, but the fact that Atletico didn't lay a glove, didn't lay a punch at all. Like it was basically De Bruyne came out a 5-5 no striker up top, which was working until they conceded. So now it's going to be interesting to see what kind of approach they take because it is only 1 goal against a hostile Spain sort of supporter base there. I can't say that this is definitively over just yet because, stranger things have happened, especially for 1 goal lead.
Rob?
Yeah, look, this is the game I watched out of this one and the Liverpool one. I thought it was actually quite a good, decent football game in general because we all knew what was going to happen. Like I said, the defensive side versus the possession and the attack side of City. Again, they didn't get as many shots on target, but look, City were in complete dominance of this game. I said it was going to be maybe a 2 or 3 and could be deaded in the water, which it's not. And I think going back to Spain with a 1-0 is definitely still with a chance of Atletico, mate. If they score an early goal, with a home crowd behind them, or if this possibly goes into extra time, they'll have the advantage. But look, I do think that City will advance. I think they've got the squad. I think they've got the team, and I think they've got the experience. And I think they're one of my front runners to actually make the final and possibly win this competition this year.
Interesting times. Look, we the one that we were probably most split on was Villarreal and Bayern Munich. Now, I'd kind of said on Tuesday, for all of my awful footballing takes, this is one I actually got right. I did say that I thought Villarreal would really frustrate, and I did say that Unai Emery's boys would have a chance, and they came out. Credit to them, they beat Bayern, and that's a really impressive result for them. They still managed to have 42% of possession, so it's not like they played anti-football, but I think they played really smart, really pragmatic football. And to beat Bayern Munich anywhere at any time is difficult. So massive kudos to Unai Emery and Villarreal, because that's an impressive result. And I wouldn't be shocked if they're in the next round. I genuinely wouldn't, because they're capable of doing it, and Bayern have not been at their best this year. That they've had some real shock and disappointing results. So credit to them. But before I get your takes, just a good evening to Emad and Sam as well. Evening, gentlemen. Emad saying Forza Ferrari. Rob,
good man, mate. Good man.
If this was an F1 podcast, it would be called "It's a Snoozing Thing," mate. So we're not talking about that nonsense in here unless we're bagging them out.
What a rev up, hey, Rob. Come on.
I know. Start your engines, mate.
That's it. Robbie, what did you think of that? Because you were quite adamant that Bayern would beat Villarreal.
I was, and look, credit to you, and I think it was Tom as well that both predicted that, that this could happen. And I did say, they beat Juventus, which was a great thing. They got through our group, which was a big thing. And after the win in the Europa League, this is just a dream for them. Look, second leg for me, it's going to be the same show, or it could be 8-1. It's literally a flip of a coin for me. And we've all seen it with Bayern before, when they've had a tricky away game, they've gone home, and everyone's like, oh, this year, they could slip up, and then bang, it's 8-1. And we've seen it before. So I don't know, and I think it could be a great game, and especially with the advantage 1-0 to Villarreal, I think this could be, very interesting. I didn't see much of this game, so but look, like you said, any win against Bayern home away is a massive.
100%. RJ, we're about to get to Chelsea, but do you want to spare any words for Unai Emery?
Well, he deserves a massive pat on the back. And as I said to you just before we went on air, that Bayern's last away loss in the Champions League, I think, happened back in 2017 to a Unai Emery side too. So it just goes to show that if you can get your tactics right on the day, you can overcome even the best of teams. But like you said, Scott, Bayern haven't been at their best. It was quite an open game. Villarreal created a lot of chances, even had a second goal disallowed for a narrow offside. It was offside, so it's a fair call. Hit the post. They blew a couple of one-on-one chances. So I'm thinking to myself, you're happy with a 1-0, but against a firepower team like Bayern Munich, they really should have capitalised on 2 or 3 more of those gilt-edged opportunities. Will it come back to bite them? We'll see, because I do expect at home Bayern Munich to not fluff their lines for 2 games in a row. So it's going to be a very, very exciting game for the neutral.
Spot on. Look, as a neutral, something that was really exciting for me was opening my eyes this morning, checking the scores.
All right, guys, I've got to get going. It's getting a bit late. All right, catches.
Looking at my phone and seeing Real Madrid, the Galacticos, 3, Chelsea in the mud, 1. I think the best way to handle this, RJ, God bless you. The best way to handle this, because Champions League's not for everyone, as you told us the other week, is to let you speak about it, because this is your team. Have a little bit of a vent. Tell us what went wrong, because clearly things went wrong. And then maybe Rob and I will just poke you a little bit. Go for it, mate. You share. What did you see?
I'm treating this as a quasi-therapeutic session, so just hear me out. Just bear with me. It's 5 a.m. It's actually 4:30. I'm reading the lineup. I'm getting excited. It's a pretty attacking-based lineup. A lot of balance, youth, experience, all of the blends. We beat Real last season. Very confident, as I said. But again, the one player we didn't mark, and he was effective last season, King Benzema, comes up trumps. The goals he scored at a very simple level, he buried 2 amazing headers. Lukaku comes on and misses 2 gilt-edged chances with his headers that were a lot easier, especially the second one. And that's the difference between world-class and confidence versus a non-impact super sub. So, yeah, it's hard because King Carlo Ancelotti, who I've got a lot of respect for, former Chelsea title-winning manager, played it perfectly in that first half. Real Madrid sat back, absorbed all of our pressure. Our pressing was quite disjointed at times, and we had players out of position. And I think players like Valverde and Vinicius Jr., they had a lot of space on the flanks between our wing backs, Reece James and Azpilicueta, that are pushing up. And poor Christensen was left isolated a few times. And yeah, exactly. He was kind of like that. But again, people say it's defensive errors. There was defensive errors in how they got their chances. But that first header, first of all, flying in the rain to head it over and above a very tall Mendy, freakish header. Then the second one, that pass from Modric, and to get it in between both Silva and Christensen, and how he just floats back and heads it into the far corner. That's a guy that's a Ballon d'Or winner this season, in my opinion. He's just been unbelievable, Benzema. And then the third goal, well, you saw Kai Havertz, a very nice goal. Good pass from Jorginho. Very happy with that. 2-1, we're in the game. And then a minute into the second half, Mendy goes and drops that bombshell on us. That's a coach killer. That's this kind of stuff there that you can't teach tactically. That's the mistake. And Rudiger, for all of the praise he gets, Mendy, when he made that pass, Rudiger should have just sent it to Rozier. Don't try to hold the ball off and be cute or whatever. Just kick the ball out. He didn't. We got burnt by it. What I didn't like is the fact that once Lukaku came on and we created more chances, we just really struggled to just focus on our conversion, which has been the story of our season. And to be honest with you, I know there was a lot of talk about Thomas Tuchel's post-match comments. Is the tie over? Is this and that? Of course, he's in the heat of the moment. It's a bit of a rev up to his team to say, this is a challenge for you. It's 2 goals. It's not insurmountable. But at the end of the day, if we kind of dish up that kind of performance, in his own words, we're going to go to the Bernabeu and get hammered again. So, look, it was a dark day in the Chelsea eyes, but at the same time, Real Madrid were very clutch. The second half was a lot better from Chelsea. We totally eliminated their chances, but they used all of their experience to perfection, so they deserved their win, and that's how it goes.
Robbie, you were calling me out on Twitter about those post-match press conferences. Just explain to everyone what your issue was.
No, the issue was that, you did go nose deep on Conte for having a whinge in the heat of the moment. And, very similar happened to Tommy Churchill. And I got a lot of respect for him, but why not people call him out when it's pretty much, yes, he's not walking out, but for someone, he just won the Champions League last year. The tie is not over, in my opinion. To say something like that, if it's a challenge or not, it's a loser sentence. You just don't say that.
It wasn't the whole context, but did you listen to the whole interview, Rob?
Yeah,
he said not at the moment. Yeah. He didn't say straight out, we've got no chance of winning that. So I don't know. I think that was a little bit out of context.
I want to concentrate on the Southampton game always, because if we don't win that, we won't have confidence going into the next one. But when Simon Stone, when he asked him, is this over? He said that was his sentence to answer it. The tie is over. So, like I said, in the context of his emotions, it might have sounded bad or it might have come across the wrong way. But in my opinion, for someone who's the reigning champion, I still think that's not the best thing to say straight after you lose and conceded 7 goals in 2 games at home. I just don't think it's the best thing to say.
It's gonna be a tough one for them to overturn. Like, I can see where he's coming from, because Real Madrid have all the experience in the world. They've got winners in there. They've got plenty of that. It's going to be a hard tie to overcome. Now, to me, and I don't want to harp on about this because it's a tiny point, but Conte was basically quitting the job like a month or 2 into it because of a bad result Tommy Tuchel, for me, has credit in the bank. He's Champions League winner, and I saw his reaction more as like that reverse psychology. Whereas I think Conte in the moment, I don't think he was thinking reverse psychology. I think for him it was just like, what's with this team? But it's irrelevant. The main question is, can Chelsea turn it around? Now, you think,
Yes.
Robbie, the tie's not over.
No,
You
it's
think
not.
they can turn it around? I think this one's done. I think Real Madrid have too many seasoned veterans to let this kind of league go. I'm sure RJ would love it overturned, but I just not against Real Madrid.
Look,
When you talked about Bayern Munich, Villarreal, I could see Bayern blowing that out potentially, but not Madrid. Not Madrid for me.
I've seen it too many times with Chelsea when, like, if they have had, look, I've woken up and it's been 2-0. I'm like, oh, yes, 10 minutes to go. And the amount of times I can probably count how many times Chelsea have rolled it back to a draw or they've won the game in the 96th minute because they bring it back, like with 3 goals out of nowhere. I've seen it many times. And today I was actually expecting it. Like, exactly, I think RJ wrapped that whole thing up really good because I think they actually were in control besides that blunder 10 seconds into that second half. I think they'll, they had a couple of rockets, nothing fully clutch, but like I said, the 2 missed headers from Lukaku, but then I think it was Mount, maybe Azpilicueta had a couple of rockets.
Courtois made some big saves as well.
From, 30 yards out, like I said, they were long shots, but, they were having a go. And look, you could nearly say that Real Madrid didn't have to have a go. They were, away winning 3-1 as well. So as long as they controlled the game, that was a positive. But Chelsea will go out there and, they're going to have to throw the kitchen sink at a point in the game anyway. So it could get done on the break. But if they get an early goal, mate, I would not put it past Chelsea. And, I think they have got that kind of belief, we are the reigning champions, that they'll go there and they'll do everything they can to overturn it.
RJ, I'm about to get you to close this up. And I do agree with Rob that they will go there with all the belief in the world. But there are some players that I don't think have that belief. Mason Mount at the moment is copping so much criticism, rightly or wrongly. I mean, my thoughts on him. Anyone that watches knows how highly I think of Mason, but he's getting it left, right, and centre. You've got Lukaku, who's your £100 million problem. You've got guys like Werner who don't really contribute. I guess 2 questions to you, Arj, to wrap this up. One's from Tom. So what are you going to do with Lukaku next season? And the second one is, will you overturn it? Because I want to make you get off the fence just to make you uncomfortable.
Well, I wish I could see the future. I'll just get my shiny head as the oracle to help with that. But to Tom's question, it's a £97 million problem. We know what he can do on his day, but the reality is Kai Havertz has been more effective in that false nine spot. He works his socks off. He's not just a worker, but he's also got end product. And very much Lukaku, if he's got a future, he's got to focus on being an impactful sub. And at the moment, he's not even that. So he just looks like a guy that doesn't want to be there. He's not competing the same way. He had a couple of decent touches, but at the same time, it's a weird situation because the players don't seem to connect with him. So I could very much see the future being for him being phased out, but it's just going to be at a massive loss. And I don't think the new owners, whoever they be, are going to want to part ways with that huge investment. So it's a bit of a conundrum, but at the same time, there's still a lot of games to go from now to the end of the season. He might come up next week and get a brace, and all of a sudden his trajectory is on the up. And you know how football comes at you fast. So
it's very quick.
Who knows what the future is for Lukaku? I only care about Chelsea, not any individual player. On Mason Mount, I just want to say on the record, it's absolutely disgraceful, some of the comments that are coming online targeting any individual player, especially your reigning player of the year who's done so much and he's leading your goals and assist contribution. And the culture sometimes online to rep certain players at the expense of others, it's almost as if that certain people would prefer the demise of the team if the player they don't like contributes to that demise rather than everybody win. It's a weird thing when you say, oh, I'm a big player X fan, that means I don't like player Y. So people like Mason, honest worker, and that cops a lot of stick, but that's just how it is, and I'm sure every team has that as well. Will Chelsea get through? For me, it all depends on how we start the first part of the game. If we get one before half time, I think we can get through. But it also obviously depends on stopping, Mr. Benzema. As I said this morning, he was the Karim Reaper. He absolutely massacred us this morning, and it was just, as a neutral, it's a pleasure to watch because of how good he is. But as a Chelsea fan, he absolutely murdered us, and I hope that we can keep him quiet. And also hope the ref does a good job in keeping them pretty honest too, because I was looking at the stats. Out of the 95 odd minutes, 58 minutes of the ball was in play. And it's just like, we even had a part in the game.
Better than this.
Excuse me. There was a part in the game when we were in attacking position and they stopped it for a cramp. Does it lead to anything? No. Yeah, but
that's Spanish, mate. The Spanish football, mate.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. What I'm saying is, if we have any chance, to your point, are we going to qualify? It depends if the ref gets on top of the dark cards. That's my condition. So we'll see.
Look, I have no sympathy for that, because you know what? If it's Chelsea and you're up in a big tie like that,
that's BS for me, mate. You don't do that. Not
your team
the game.
would do it. Your team would stop.
And they shouldn't stop the game for it. They should play on. It's a head injury. You stop the game. If you're cramping up, don't do it. Here we go. All right. Well, don't ask for reviews then. Don't worry about it. That's it.
Look,
well, that's how I think about it. Dark arts are bad.
Mate, the dark arts are a key part of football. They have to stop
Fair
it.
enough.
They have to stop it. But this is the point I was making to you about Real Madrid's experience.
Tom's having a laugh here because in my game, I actually fell over and I actually did have an injury, but I didn't actually ask to stop the game. I tried to get off the field, but I needed actual help. But anyway.
So they stopped it for you, is what you're saying. The game.
I wish they didn't stop it, to be honest, because I don't like doing that. So anyhow, I'm not a professional footballer.
Now, look, you know, like them or not, the dark arts are a part, and Real Madrid have some wily characters who are going to exploit that. The onus is on Chelsea to punish them, make them nervous. And if Chelsea can do that, they have a chance. But I wouldn't be expecting any favours from a ref or Real Madrid, because you know exactly what they're going to do. The mission for them is not to look good or play pretty. It's to be in the next round. So we'll see. But let's talk a little bit. I'm going to give you a break, RJ, because I know that mustn't have been fun. We're going to jump straight into Everton.
I love it. We're the only one in the Champions League still, so I can cop it, mate. Like a big little boy.
Not for long, boss. Let's talk Everton. I want to show you the table, boys. Now, they are looking...
Down. Everton's going down.
They are looking in a really precarious position. They have been in awful form. They've not been playing good football. Frank looks unhappy. I reckon if he had his time again, he doesn't take this position. And look, it was brave of him to take it, but he wasn't the man for a relegation dogfight. Those 3 points of Burnley put them 1 point behind Everton. We've still got a fair few games to go, but I think Everton are going down. I think Burnley is staying up. Everton are gone. What do you make of the situation for them, Robbie?
Just dire. And I honestly, like I said, when we're looking at that run, I'm sure most of us seen the fixtures of what they've got for the end of the season. Honestly, that is a very, very hard run. And when you're in a relegation dogfight and you've got, out of 10 games, I think they've got, 8 of the top 10 kind of thing. It is very hard. And when, even Brentford is is hard to beat. Crystal Palace, then you've got Leicester, City, Chelsea. Like, it just keeps going and going. And look, I don't know about RJ, but if you take your heart out of it, and I know the whole Frank Lampard situation, I think you wrapped it up perfectly. What you said today. Before he took over, Everton were nosediving and were a bit of a head case. And like I said, they had the 1 or 2 little games that overturned and gave them a bit of faith. But, mate, a game against like your Burnleys, who's pretty much a 6-pointer, losing that is a nail in the coffin to me. And what's coming ahead, I honestly think this could be Everton really possibly going down this year.
Robbie, the Borges put in the chat, get Big Sam in ASAP. I don't think that I don't see that as a banter comment. I don't think he's trying to banter.
To be honest,
would you do it if you were the owner of Everton, Rob, and you had the chance? Big Sam rang you and said, "Get rid of this bloke, put me in, I'll keep you up." Do you think they have a better chance?
If I'm being honest, whoever it is, Big Sam or Frank, I honestly think that Everton's going to go down. And in my opinion, if they did go down in the championship, I would keep Frank because I can honestly say I did enjoy what he did at Derby, and I thought that was his kind of level. It's a stepping stone to maybe come back. But if they do go down, I would keep Frank, and I think he could do a decent job in the championship with Everton.
I agree with you that if I had to pick one to start the championship, I would probably take Frank. But right now, my opinion is that if I had to pick one of those guys to give me the best chance of staying up, it would be Big Sam. I would take Big Sam.
He's got the reputation and he's got the record for it, but that doesn't mean that it will happen.
It doesn't, but I mean, I look at the squad, I look at the fans. No one seems happy with Frank. I feel like the dressing room's not fully behind him. No one looks like they're enjoying their time. I just don't think he's the man to get them out of this. And this is banter aside. I think if someone like Big Sam was to walk into that dressing room now, the first thing he says is, right, I've been here. I've done this. You want to stay in this league, you do it my way, and command their respect instantly. I don't think Frank Lampard commands that respect. A brilliant midfielder, one of the best, but he's not a brilliant manager. RJ, I'm sure you'll disagree.
Well, I disagree with your sentiments about them giving him stick because I've read a lot and I trawl a lot of their social media, and the vast majority is blaming the players and the board, very little on Frank. So to be frank, he's been put in a very difficult situation. He's accepted that. I do respect the fact that he jumped in a pressure cooker situation. You've got to remember, Rafa Benitez, Mr. Champions League winning, FA Cup winning manager, couldn't get the job done with this team. So this guy he's come and inherited that why would you want to get involved in that situation, has now unfortunately been able to not turn the tide. They are in very big danger, like Rob says, and I've got the fixture list in front of me, but I wouldn't necessarily write off Burnley either because they've got some crunch clashes against West Ham, Wolves, Tottenham, Villa twice, Newcastle, and Leeds as well. They've played 2 games more than Everton, or 5 points above. To go and say Everton's the one that's going to get the drop, that's a very big call for me because I still think that those others are very inconsistent. Burnley have lost 4 out of their last 5 as well. This was a big win, but they've been absolutely rubbish too. So what gives you any confidence that they're going to win the majority of their next games? They've been hopeless. So I don't know. Frank's
Leeds
in
for
big
me,
trouble.
I really think that Leeds have been steered in they steadied the ship a lot compared to Bielsa. So I honestly, if you were to say, are they going to stay up or down? Leeds for me are staying up. Burnley, I understand, they're very up and down. But since they're bringing the new manager, they've really, really been on a steady course. And I think they just want to stay up, and I think they will stay up.
Yeah, I was looking at their last 5 games. So they've won 2, lost 2, drawn 1. Obviously, Everton's won 1 of them and lost 4. So definitely Leeds are the improved team at the moment. But that's the whole recency bias thing as well. It's very short term. It can change very quickly. But I agree. Everton's, between them and Burnley, I'm still undecided. I wouldn't bring in Sam now. I'm not sure that having yesterday's experience is going to help you with this current side and get them integrated and get up to speed. I think if it's a sinking ship, it's a sinking ship. Too late to plug the hole in now. But you know what?
Down with the ship.
Captain's got to go down with the ship. And if he does, you know what? They go to the championship. They're a team that's got enough history and enough money behind them. They'll come right back up, I think, anyway. So we'll see what happens.
I disagree with you on that point completely. I mean, if it's a sinking ship, it's a sinking ship. Well, if I've got a captain who's been on a sinking ship and been able to patch it up and get it floating again, I want that guy to come in, not a captain who's never been on one before.
But you need the right crew on the boat, don't you? To help you.
Sometimes
doesn't matter if you're a good captain.
The captain is the most important part of the team to me. But we're going to have to wait and see. It's going to be scintillating. I will put this statement to you boys and just get your thoughts before we do some predictions. If Everton go down, Frank Lampard has been sacked from Chelsea. He's then stepped into Everton, who were calamitous, but taken them down, and he couldn't get Derby promoted. Do you think he's still an appealing prospect as a Premier League manager? If
Just wait,
Everton
I got
go down?
one question before that one. This one mainly for you, Aj. If he does take them down, does he lose his job? Honest opinion.
Yeah, probably. And to Scott's question, obviously the rhetorical question is no. Why would he be appealing with his not so great end product? But depends on your long-term vision of what you want. Because if, like, the calamitous situation at Everton can't be understated enough, like they were in massive trouble. Anyone that walked in there had a very high likelihood of going down, and he's the unlucky person that dipped his toe in the water. But the Derby promotion, again, they weren't expected to get promoted, and he overachieved with them. And we all know what happened at Chelsea again. That's mixed bag. So I agree. No, he wouldn't be an attractive proposition for a current Premier League side. I actually thought what he should have done, post Chelsea experience, go back to the Championship or go to another league. But you know what? Frank, like what he does, he makes his own decisions. He shouldn't have even gone to Chelsea from the get-go. But he's someone that doesn't shy away from a big task. So I've got to give him credit for at least having a bit of belief in himself.
Yeah, if we're going to give him credit for something, it's that. But let's do some predictions, boys. Let's get into these because we have some scintillating football ahead of us. And that scintillating football is starting with the team of the moment, Newcastle United hosting Wolves. Newcastle given a bit of a reality check by Spurs. I'm seeing a 1-1 draw in this one. I think both teams will share the points. Robbie?
Yeah, I think I'll agree with you, Borgie. 1-1 in this one. I think Newcastle want to bounce back a little bit from getting pumped from Spurs during the week. And, Wolves are never an easy beat. So, yeah, sitting on the fence 1-1.
RJ?
Yeah, I'll go 1-1 as well.
Marty's with us as well. Your boys, Robbie, Everton hosting Man United. Are you going to pile the misery on Frank?
I don't know, and that's the honest opinion. I'd love to say yes, and heart is saying we're going to win this, but for my tip, I'm not being negative. My tip, I'm going to put a 1-1 draw in this because I just have a funny feeling about this game. So yeah, I'm going to go 1-1 draw for my tip.
RJ, you next.
I can't believe it. Everton's the worst team in the Premier League with the worst manager. He should at least win 5-0 against that basket team. But
Oh yeah,
I don't know. I kind of see where Rob's coming from. But the more
I could
try to
even
be
see an M at a
positive,
2-2, and I'm being honest.
Yeah,
I could just
that's
see
what
it
I mean.
happening.
Yeah, I could see that. Hey, for all the stick Everton's getting, I'm surprised, man, you're not buzzing up here with United to win 4-0. But I think they will win United, and I think it'll just add more woes to a hopeless Toffees. So let's lock in a 2-1 to United.
2-0 to Man United. Entertaining anything else is insane. Insane. Arsenal hosting Brighton. We need these 3 points. We need nothing less than 3 points. Brighton haven't been at their best lately, and I think this is a good opportunity for the Arsenal to bounce back and secure 3 points. I'm going with a 2-0 win to the Arsenal boys. RJ?
Yeah, I'll lock in 2-1 to Arsenal.
Robbie?
I'll go 2-0 Arsenal as well.
Of course, Marty with the worst football take for that match in the chat. RJ, we're going to start with you. The Saints hosting your boys. What's going to happen here?
So who knows at the moment? Probably concede 3 goals. Mendy will probably backheel it in the goal. Who knows what's going to happen there? Tough. Saints always give us a run for our money at St. Mary's. I don't know. This is a real test of our character, to be honest. We'll have to see. I like that comment, by the way, man. I don't know. My heart's telling me we'll scrape a win here, but I've got to be honest with you. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw.
Robbie?
I'm going to go for a high-scoring game in this one. I'm going to go 3-2 to Chelsea. Very close, and it might be a late winner.
I'm going to go with Chelsea to bounce back here 2-1. I think Chelsea will bounce back. Tommy Tuchel knows what he's doing. Watford hosting Leeds. This will be an interesting match, but I think Leeds will have enough about them. This is the first time I'm tipping them for a win since the new manager's taken over, I think, so they'll probably get smashed. But I'm going with 2-1 Leeds. What about you, Rob?
3-1 Leeds.
RJ?
I think this will be 1-1.
1-1 draw. Interesting. Villa hosting Spurs. Surely one thing we can all agree on is that we don't want Spurs to win this. Are we in agreement on that, lads, at least?
No, I want Tottenham to win.
You're a scumbag, Rob. Dead set. You're a scumbag. Why do you try to hurt me? Look, well, I'm going to start this one off. Unfortunately, I think that Spurs will have too much for Aston Villa. They've been in good form. They're going to want to keep the heat on us. So I'm going with a 2-0 to Tottenham Hotspur. RJ, let's just skip Rob for this. What do you think, mate?
Well, Villa's 3 losses on the bounce, so the Gerrard train is not as full steam ahead as we thought it would be. But yeah, at home, Tottenham being good. I don't want to say a Spurs win because that'd be the obvious answer. So I actually think it's going to be a 2-2. Exciting game.
Robbie, Lottie is disappointed in you. I'm disappointed in you. Your parents are disappointed in you.
I couldn't hope for anything more. Stevie G getting beaten, mate. So I'll be on the Spurs train for this one. Hope Kulusevski has a big one again because I'm really enjoying him watching play. And I'll take Marty's tip for this one, 3-1.
All right. Brentford, West Ham. I'm going to be really quick on this one. West Ham, 1-0. Rob, let's bounce back to you.
I can't do any more stupid ones. I really like Brentford again, but I'll go for a West Ham 2-1. But it wouldn't surprise me if Brentford get a result in this.
And Mr. RJ?
Well, just for the fun of it, I'll just go Brentford 2-1.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad tip, to be honest.
Well, after what they did to Chelsea, you don't know. You don't know.
It's only Chelsea, mate. Who cares? What would they know?
Lottie's on the Brentford train as well, and Marty's calling a 1-0. Interesting. We have a couple more fixtures that we're going to predict. Then we're going to jump to some quick fires. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I haven't got a quick fire for tonight. So if you want to chuck any in the chat that you want us boys to cover, feel free to chuck a quick fire in there. Also, make sure you like the video, hit sub if you haven't already, and try and share it around. We are on the road to 600, and we're going to get there soon, we hope. Let's look at the next. The Foxes and the Eagles. Both teams very impressive. Both had decent results, especially Palace. I see a 1-1 draw here to keep it short. What do you see, Rob?
Very hard again, this one. Very hard. Palace is looking at me that little bit more, but I'm going to go for 2-1 to Palace, but not confident.
RJ?
Yeah, I think Scott's right. I'm going to go 1-1 tight game.
Norwich and Burnley. This will be interesting. I might need some time on this. Let's go back to you, RJ, then Rob.
Norwich is a done and dusted one for me. Burnley will win this one, I think. 2-1, 3-1. Just go 2-1 for me.
Yeah, I'll go 2-0 Burnley on this one.
I might go 1-0 Burnley on this one. Now, this is the game of the round. This is the last one we're going to predict. Manchester City hosting Liverpool. Top of the table, 2 world-class teams, probably the 2 favourites for the Champions League as well. Klopp, Guardiola, the scene is set, boys. I mean, this one is a massive, massive step in the title race. I think that whoever wins this gets so much positive momentum. But I genuinely have no idea who I think will win. Borche is saying, I don't know if this is a bit of banter, City 4-0.
I hope so.
You want City to win?
Of course I want City to win. We've had this conversation. Why would I want Liverpool to win? Why would I want Liverpool to
worry
get
about the
close to
number
the
of
title?
titles being taken over.
100%, but it's Liverpool anyway. My most hated team. Yes, I hope City win, mate. I definitely hope City win. And if it's a big score, I'll be even happier. So, look, I honestly, if I'm going to tip in, I actually think this is going to be an absolute blockbuster game. I think both teams are going to go for this. I think Liverpool will be right up for it, thinking if they can get this over City, that they're in the driving seat here. But again, at the same time, City say if we finish this, I reckon that's the title for them. So I will go for a very, very narrow 2-1 win to City. Very close game. This is going to be fireworks, I reckon.
Okay, well, at least it'll make you happy. Then put a smile on your doll. What about you, RJ?
You're right, Robbie. And to keep on the topic, whoever wins this will be in pole position, wouldn't you say, to win the Premier League? So I know Scott loves that. Look, I actually think Liverpool's going to win this one, man. I don't know. I've got this feeling. I've just got this gut feeling that it's going to be Liverpool and it's going to be 2-1.
They're on fire at the moment, Liverpool. That's what's
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah. They really are, man. They're just cruising.
City is such a professional outfit, though. Like they just, you can never back against them. They're like Melbourne Storm in the Premier League. You can never tip against those guys. But it's going to be a tough one. I'm just going to put the Man United fans saying they're happy for their team to lose if it means City win. I'm just going to ignore it because to me it's blasphemous. They should make me the host of the United podcast with that kind of attitude, Tommy. If you ever need me, just give me a call. But I'm going 2-2. I actually think there'll be plenty of goals, plenty of action, but I don't think they'll be split here. I think the title race is going to come down to those other games along the way because they're just both going to want this. It's either going to be a 2-2 or a 0-0 where they're just both too scared to make a mistake. But I'm going to be optimistic for goals, and I'm going to say 2-2.
Cool.
Crackers, boys. I can't wait till Tuesday night show because we're going to come back and we're going to look at that result in particular, as well as our own teams, and hopefully some a win for the boys because we didn't get a win in the last round of Premier League action. Let's get to some quick fires, though. Robbie, you got yours ready to go?
Yeah, I've only got maybe 2 tonight off the top of my head. This one is a bit of a random one, but a bit of a food one. I was having a big, massive muffin the other day, so I was just going to say, what's your favorite flavor for a muffin?
A big, massive one, you said, of muffin, of course.
Mate, it was a big one. Come on, Scott.
Oh, I'm sure it was a big muffin, Rob. My favorite flavored muffin, just to be clear, is I'm gonna go choc chip. That's it. I'm done. This is it.
I'm not even being. It's the way you say muffin. Like
muffin. How else do you say muffin?
I don't know. There's something about the way you say muffin. I love it.
The Muffin Man. You know, Shrek. The Muffin Man.
Mate, I'm gonna go with some butter and Vegemite, mate. For me, I'm not gonna lie. I don't indulge in a muffin very often.
Muffin?
So
what kind of muffin is that? Like, I'm talking about like, the round kind of ones. What are you?
Oh, you're talking like the sweet muffins, not like a McMuffin.
What did you think I was talking about?
You little sausage and egg McMuffin over here.
Yeah.
But banana and cinnamon, man.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, one of those ones. Yeah.
Oh, those muffins.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, what other muffins is there? There's like McMuffin or something.
Oh, the English muffins, mate.
No,
Rob likes his big muffins. That's my key takeaway from tonight.
For me, mate, it's cross up between a blueberry or orange and poppy seeds. My favorite.
Look, I'm not the only one who misunderstood your question. Marty didn't understand it either.
What do you call it then? Isn't that a muffin?
I don't know, mate. Let's just
cupcake muffin. It is a muffin.
Yeah,
I got you. I got you, Rob.
Listen, I've had a muff of this question. Let's move on to the next. Rob,
all right, boys. Holden or Ford? I'm going to give you some motorsport ones just for Scott.
Ford.
Holden.
Hudge. Yeah, Holden for me. And last one. I don't know if you know the team, Scotty, but give me a prediction for the Formula One this weekend. Come on. Pick a team, please. Don't be smart.
Spinalese pillows will sell plenty of pillows, and there'll be lots of snoring in the crowd.
We'll just ignore that one. Let's go, RJ.
It's got to be a Ferrari. Come on, they've got to bring it home. Make it happen.
Mate, Ferrari,
bet your on it, to what Marty would say.
Ferrari winning, mate. I'll be very happy next week on the pod.
Who do you go for, Rob?
Who do you think? Ferrari, mate. You know.
Who's their biggest enemy?
Well, this year at the moment it's Red Bull.
That's who I go for, Red Bull. Forza Red Bull, that's my team. RJ, you got yours ready?
Yeah, I got it's a football thing type question for you, gents. Scenario is your team wins a game in very controversial fashion. Do you celebrate it or do you just lay low?
No, celebrate.
I celebrate.
Rob, celebrate it? Yeah. All right, cool. For me,
I
think it depends. Nah, to me, I'd hate it. And my next one is if you've got a player who wins a penalty, should they be the one that takes it or your designated penalty taker?
Designated penalty taker for me.
Designated for you? Okay.
Yeah. Designated.
Unless it is, of course, the designated person, so you might get
And
lucky on both fronts.
it's someone, especially for me. Like I said, I was a winger and I used to actually win a lot of penalties. And that's like I said, I was a goal scorer, but I hated to take penalties. That was one thing I hated to do. So yeah, I'm glad we had a designated guy to do it. And that's it.
Look at all these cheaters in the chat, I've got to say. I hope all your teams lose by the most controversial fashion. I can't wait just to say karma comes back to bite.
Boys, I think there was one in the chat from Gunnar Eddie.
Yeah. I'm gonna scroll up to it now. I was just wondering if RJ was going to cry about football's dark arts again, but
well, I hope it doesn't come back to rip us off again, mate. We're already up against it with the refs. We don't need any more enemies.
From Gunnar Eddie, what's your A-League team, Robbie?
My Wanderers, mate.
Arj?
I'm a mighty MacArthur Bulls man.
MacArthur Bulls for me as well. That's my local.
Is that your second or third team, Scott?
I started with Sydney FC.
And then you went to the Wanderers?
I'm the same, actually.
I was part of the Sin City crew for Sydney FC in the corner. Then switched over to the Wanderers. I'm a mercenary. And now MacArthur, mate. This is my family club.
Geez,
I'd love to know
Tottenham. Just give him a few years and he'll be supporting Tottenham, mate.
I'll tell you what, one thing I'll never do is cheer for my biggest rivals to win a match, even if it means my team loses. So let's look at Marty's one here. If you could place yourself in any moment in football history, where would you be?
Easy. 2006 World Cup final, Italy winning. That's easy.
It's a great one.
What about
I'd
you,
say
RJ?
Drogba taking the penalty 2012 for the Champions League, first Champions League.
For me, probably Arsenal winning the league at White Hart Lane. That would have been special. Either that or the last match at Highbury. One of the two. I can't pick between them. Boys, it has been a cracking show. It's been a cracking show. We've had a great time. We are back on Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Before we wrap this bad boy up, any quick closing comments from you, RJ?
No, mate. All I know is we came back from the brink. We are the impossible. We are Chelsea. We'll be back. Believe it or don't believe it. I don't care. Up the Chelsea.
Rob?
Don't put that Emad comment up, all right, boys? Always I'm banning you from the
that's
show.
disgraceful. Get rid of him, mate.
I'm burning you from this, Emad.
Unsubscribe, mate.
Oh, no. I'll take the loss for that one.
No, we're good. Look, from me, really stoked. Secured some tickets to watch Barca come down and play the A-League All-Stars down here. I think it'll be good spectacle. Always nice to see big footballing institutions coming down. It's going to be an interesting off-season down here in Australia. We've got Barca, we got United coming down. Who else is coming down? There's a couple others, aren't there? Barca, United. Celtic, apparently Rangers pulled out, of course, bailed. But it should be interesting. So looking forward to getting out to that. But the action's here. This is where the action is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But we're going to leave it there for now. We hope to see you back on Tuesday night. If you're watching back live, just leave a comment underneath, maybe answering one of the quick fires. It helps the video. Gentlemen, ladies, take care. Enjoy your evening and stay safe.